Today's workout will start on the floor. I'm just going to use one weight, but if you have multiple options, go ahead and mix and match according to what you need for each exercise. I'm going to show a couple of options for most of the exercises and just pick the one that's right for you. Our first part of our warm-up is going to be on our backs. Putting your feet however is comfortable. These things are called floor angels. We are going to start with sending our fingertips straight up to the ceiling and trying to send our elbows toward each other as close as they'll get within comfort for our shoulders. Then we dive our fingertips overhead, again, only as far as is comfortable for your shoulders today. Then peel your elbows apart, sending your arms toward the ground, opening as far as feels comfortable. Big common refrain on this one. Slide your elbows toward your hips, making a W shape with your arms. And then send your hands down toward your hips. Nice open shoulder posture here. Take a breath in and out. We'll do that one more time. Go ahead and pause in any of the positions where you feel like, oh, I need a little stretch here. An extra moment in this posture. Ending with your hands down by your hips with another breath. Our next movement is going to be a mid-back opener. So we're going to roll onto our side and we're going to put our hips on top of each other stacked, our shoulders are stacked, and our hands are together to start. From here, take a breath in to the ceiling and then out as you open to the side. Then bring it back together. Breathe into the ceiling and out the rest of the way. Hips are staying stacked, so we're moving through our mid-back one more on this side. And turn it around to the other side. I'm going to give you a slightly different angle on this one. Second side, same thing. Inhale to the ceiling. Exhale to open the rest of the way. Back to start 2 more times. For this last one, we're on our backs again for a cook hip lift. For this, we are going to loosely hold one leg in our hands at the knee, bending that leg. And we're driving through our heel to lift our hips. And we're trying to activate our glute, our booty on the side where our leg is down to lift those hips. Explore how far or close your foot needs to be in order to feel the engagement in your glute. So it might feel like, oh, the back of my thigh, my hamstring is working a little too much. So just find a different position if that's the case and see if you can get that glute going. And we'll switch over to the other side, same thing. We're just bridging up, coming down. Awesome job. Now from here, we're going into a core exercise, and you're going to have 3 different options for this one. Our base option, we're going to start with our legs in tabletop. So our hips are at 90 degrees, knees are at 90 degrees, and we're taking an inhale to tap one foot down, exhale to pull that leg back up, inhale to tap the other foot down, exhale to pull that leg back up. So that's option 1. For an easier option that's a little bit easier on the hip flexors, you don't have to hold your legs there. You can put your feet down on the ground with your knees bent, and you're still taking an inhale, and then exhale, lift your leg. Inhale, set that foot down. Exhale, lift your other leg. Inhale, set it down. So again, you're inhaling as your limbs go away from you, exhaling as you pull them to you. And for this version from the floor, we're trying to pull our leg up with the front of our core as opposed to pushing with the leg that's still down on the ground. The hard option for this is a dying bug. You're leaving your hand and knee that stay in the same place, exactly in the same place, while you extend opposite leg and arm down and then pull back in. And the further down you put your leg, the harder it is. So this is harder than this. So you have a couple of ways to grade this up and down to exactly what you need. So here's that dying bug again, extending opposite leg and arm down, inhaling to extend, exhale, pull in. Inhale, extend, exhale, pull in. For all of these options, we are keeping our spine nice and neutral, so we are not allowing our back to peel away from the ground. We're keeping the front of our core engaged. We're going to do about 5-ish on each side of this one, but go at your own pace with your own breathing. Let's begin. Last one each side. Give yourself a little hug. This next one is a floor press. For this exercise, we're going to hold our weight in one hand and we are punching our hand up to the ceiling. We're bringing our elbow down at an angle to our torso, but our wrist stays stacked over our elbow the whole time. The goal of this is to feel the work through your chest muscles and not any pinching in your shoulder. So we're bringing it down just a little bit at an angle and then punching it up so that wrist, elbow, and shoulder are stacked at the top. Here's what those angles look like from a little bit of a different perspective. So we're bringing our elbow a little more toward our hips and then pressing up toward our hips and pressing up to stacked. Wrist always stays stacked over your elbow. For the harder option, you're just going to set your legs in that position from the dying bug and you're going to press like this. So your opposite leg from the one where you're pressing is bent and the same side is extended, and you'll just hover your other arm up above the ground. To make it a little bit easier, you can rest your foot or your opposite arm on the ground, but this hover makes it nice and good core stability challenge as you're pressing. This is a little easier to manage if you have a dumbbell, but if you have a kettlebell, you can just drape the weight over the back of your wrist like this. We're going to do 5 to 8 per side. Let's begin. Always move the weight around your head when you're doing this kind of thing. We don't like to pass weights directly over your face, just in case. We'll switch it over to the other side now. Let's begin. We're going to turn over for our next exercise, which will be a row. And your choices for this row are a bird dog row with your leg all the way up and rowing here. Or if that is too much stability required, you can tap that foot down so your hip is extended and you're rowing with just a little bit of that stability challenge. Our hardest option for this one is a plank row. You're trying to keep your hips nice and level as you row, so resist the urge for the same side hip to open up as you're rowing. For all of these options, we're thinking about keeping our spine nice and neutral, belly button pulled toward your spine. So pick whichever option works best for you to be able to maintain your spine alignment first. And as we're rowing, we're thinking about driving our elbows straight up to the sky. If you have a dumbbell, the handle will be a little bit lower to the ground, so you'll get a little bit more range of motion. But a kettlebell is totally fine, as you will see. Same thing as the last one, we're doing about 5 to 8 per side. Let's begin. Head over to the other side. Beautiful work. After all that work for your back and arms, feel free to drop into a child's pose to stretch out your arms, or do a little bit of a cat-cow to give your back a break, depending on where you're feeling it. For our next movements, we'll come to standing. We are going to do a hinge movement. So our feet are going to be directly underneath our hips. Our spine's going to be nice and long, and we're holding a weight down low. For a kettlebell, there's a nice handle like this. For a dumbbell, you can hold it from one side of the two ends, or you could just hold one right down the middle. If you have two weights, you can hold one in each hand as long as they're the same weight. We are starting tall, softening our knees, and then sending our hips back, keeping a neutral spine, and trying to feel the work through the back of our legs, primarily our glutes, secondarily our hamstrings, and keeping the weight balanced over our feet. And again, nice neutral spine here, so we're not bending through our spine to get down. Limit this range of motion to what you can do where your hips are traveling backward and your spine is staying nice and long and neutral. If this movement feels vulnerable to you with a weight, you can also do it without a weight. Here's what our first option looks like again from the side. Nice long spine, soften the knees, send the hips back, feel the back of the legs drive up to standing and hips are extended. For our harder option, you'll just add a pause at the bottom and then push up, trying to keep belly button pulled toward your spine, nice neutral posture through your lower back during that pause. So for that harder option, you'll do fewer repetitions during our time than if you pick the zero pause option. Let's grab our weight and begin. And one or two more depending on your option. Beautiful work, friends. Next up, we're going to do something that is a single leg balance challenge. You can either go over to a wall, find some support, and do a single leg balance, trying to stay nice and tall and structured on your hip, if that is enough for you. If you want a little bit more oomph to it, you can use your weight, probably a lighter weight than you would expect. You'll see me struggle with this weight. You're going to find that same position nice and tall on your hip, and you're passing the weight over your leg, settling the weight, passing it over your leg, and settling it again. If that looks like too big of a jump between the two things, you can also put that free leg as a little kickstand. Most of your weight is on that supporting leg, and you're passing your weight over a smaller hurdle, essentially. So that will be a little bit easier than if you have your leg all the way up. There's your spectrum of options. Let's get started on the first side. Begin. Couple more seconds, pass it back to the starting point or to the next side, and you're done. Take a little break, shake it out, heading to the second side. And settling the weight to your last side. Whew, and we are done. Let's head down to the floor again for a little cool down. We're going to start with just a few breaths on our back. Nice open shoulder posture. And anything that calls to you right now, you can do. If it's a little waggling your legs side to side, or if it's hugging your legs into your chest, or if it's just being a starfish, do whatever calls to you in this moment. Let's head together into a supine twist. So we're dropping our legs to one side and keeping our shoulders relatively anchored on the ground. And you can send your top leg up into something that feels like a nice hip stretch. And you can even pull that leg down toward the ground to deepen the stretch if that feels nice. Take a few breaths here. We'll head over to the other side and same thing. Send your legs to one side. You can swing that top leg up and deepen the stretch. And as you get into that final stretch, I'm going to send you on your way. Thank you so much for working out with me today. If you want more joint aware workouts like this, check out the other videos on the channel. Comment if you have requests. And remember, every option is valid, just like you.